I've never worked a 9 to 5, and I probably never will. And before you're like, oh, you're just some spoiled rich kid, I am, kind of. Chipotle at 11 a.m. It's crazy. Baby. That's crazy work. I mean, I was lucky enough to never have to worry about bills or having food on the table, and my parents made good money. But it's not like they gave me anything. It's not like they're paying my $5,000 a month rent in Miami. It's not like they bought me my Porsche 911 Turbo. But obviously I'm grateful for the upbringing I had, but I just want to make it clear it's not like anything was handed to me. So how did I get here? How did I end up in a position where I'll never have to work a 9 to 5? But before I tell you that, I gotta say, I don't know why the fuck I keep going to Starbucks, even though every time I get it, I'm disappointed. It's just mid after mid after mid, but I keep going back like a fucking lunatic. So when I was really young, I was like retardedly optimistic. Like I was the kid that literally thought he could do anything. I thought I could be an athlete or a singer or some kind of famous something. And I remember one time when I was really little, my mom asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I told her that I wanted to be a dog. Like that's how retarded and optimistic I was. I thought I could just turn into a dog. But as you get older, the world kind of starts to beat this optimism out of you, slowly but surely. You know, at first it's like, you can be anything you want when you grow up. You can be a fucking dog, you can be an astronaut, you can be an athlete, a singer, whatever. But you start going through life and people just get more and more pessimistic as you get older. By the time you reach high school, you know, people start talking about like, oh, what's your plan after high school? What's your plan after college? Like, what career do you want? And I remember thinking to myself, like, how the fuck am I supposed to know what I want to do with my life? And I would look at the people that I knew that were older than me, that were in careers, and I would just look at their lives and I'd be like, I don't want to fucking do that. Like, that looks absolutely miserable. Like, it looks like you go to some job that you hate every single day and you put on the same clothes and you eat the same food and you do the same things over and over and over, and there's like no life behind your eyes. You can tell that you don't even like what you're doing, but you do it every day. And I was like, I don't fucking want that. I want to do something that brings me more purpose and fulfillment and that I'm excited to get up and do every day. So when I was in high school, I kind of started to experiment with different online businesses. Like I tried to start a vlog, I tried to start an e-com brand. I was always just scheming. I was trying to think of ways to scam old women or naive children. I wanted to make money. I wanted to not follow the normal path. I wasn't actually trying to scam, by the way, just to be clear. But nothing really worked. So then by the time like my junior, senior year comes around, you know, everybody's applying for colleges and I'm like, okay, well, obviously I'm gonna go to college. Like I don't know what else to do. And that's like a big leap, you know, if everybody in your class is going to college and coming from like a nicer suburban area, it'd be like, what the fuck is Ben doing? Like Ben's lost his mind not going to college. So I started applying for colleges and in my head I still had these doubts. I was like, I don't really want to do this, but I also don't know what I want to do with my life, so I might as well just like go enjoy some 4-year vacation out of college and then maybe I'll figure it out or something. Like something will happen hopefully and I'll end up getting out of this, but let's follow the path for now. So I ended up going to college in South Carolina and it's like a really fun party school. It's 70% female and I was like, bro, I'm fucking sold. Like you could have stopped there. But anyway, my first semester I ended up joining a fraternity and I was having a ton of fun. Like I had a girlfriend, I was just living like the frat bro fun college lifestyle. And by then the pressure kind of starts to build up more. You know, people are talking a bit more seriously about like, oh, what's your career gonna be? What's your major? What are you gonna do after you graduate? What are your aspirations? And still I was like, I don't know what I wanna do with my life. Like I look at these careers, I look at people that are in real estate or are investment bankers or just doing random normal jobs and I'm like, I don't wanna fucking do that. Like I couldn't see myself doing any of that. That just isn't me. I'm more creative. I want to do something fun and I want to be in control of my time and I want to be able to travel and not have to say, hey boss, I'm here for work, oh, clocking in. But at this point, those aspirations to not do that were just delusion. I had like nothing to show for it and I'm kind of like a loser my freshman year of college. But on the surface, I'm having a ton of fun. Like I'm your normal frat bro having a blast in college, but I didn't have any direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do after. And I started to get this anxiety in the back of my head that was like, okay, buddy, like you're on this path here and you know it's not what you want, but you're not doing anything about it. Like what's going on? And that anxiety just kind of continued to build in the back of my head silently. Like you would never know if you knew me in real life. But I remember there was one time where I got really high and I had never had a panic attack in my life previous to this point. But I got really stoned and I'm walking home from a friend's house and I just remember like sirens going off in my head. I was going absolutely insane to the point where I'm walking home and I'm approaching this intersection and facing me is a green light. So usually when it's a green light, that means you can go and walk because the cars are going that way. But I'm so stoned to where I get to this intersection and I stop and I wait for it to turn red, and then it turns red, and then I start walking, as all the cars are coming across, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And then I'm walking by other people, and I'm just like, they're gonna know I'm high, they're gonna know, like I was freaking out, right? And then I finally made it into my dorm room, and I just like curled up into a ball in my bed and like tried to calm myself down. And I remember once the high wore off, I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like that's never happened to me before in my life. Why all of a sudden did I just get like a panic attack? And I think it was because of this anxiety that was always in the back of my head. It was that voice that I was trying to ignore and suppress. And it was in that moment where it was like really brought to the surface. But still I continued on and I just like tried to accept this idea of being a normie, tried to accept the fact that, okay, this is just gonna be a 4-year vacation, I'm just gonna enjoy this, and then once I graduate, I'll go into the real world, but like, that's tomorrow's problems. I don't wanna have to think about that now. It's like, there's an elephant, not in the room, but down the hall. And I'm avoiding the elephant down the hall and I'm just trying to enjoy what I am doing right now and have fun. But I know inevitably I will have to face that elephant that's down the hall. For now, I'm just trying to ignore it and accept my fate. You know, I'm gonna enjoy this while I'm here, but I'm your average person. I'm not meant to do anything special with my life. All of those dreams and goals and ideas that I used to have and all of that optimism and the fact that I even wanted to be a fucking dog, that's just all bullshit. That's just going out the window. I'm just gonna be a normie average Joe and I'm gonna hate my life after this 4-year vacation, right? But then I kind of had a wake-up call. So it was 2020, and if you remember what happened in 2020 with the pandemic and lockdowns, this was towards the end of my freshman year. And a few weeks before all of that happened with the whole world shutting down, I had a friend named Jack who was really religious. And he told me, he sent me this random long text one day. And I didn't know him that well, so it was a bit strange. And he was like, yo, Ben, I don't know how religious you are, but I felt like I had to tell you this. I was praying the other day and your name came up with the word relief. And I don't know what that means to you. I don't know if you're religious. I don't know if you're even reading the words that I'm sending you right now, but I just felt like I had to tell you this. And I remember reading that text and I wasn't very religious at the time. So I was like, okay, like, that's kind of fucking weird, whatever. And I kind of disregarded it. But it did linger in the back of my mind. Like, relief, what the fuck does relief mean? And maybe a week or two after that, I went through a breakup, and without getting into too much detail, like, you know when you start dating somebody and then you kind of drop all of your other responsibilities and like you make that girl your whole world? That's what I did, which is obviously a horrible fucking thing to do in any relationship, but I'm 19 and I'm retarded. So when you guys break up, it's like your whole world is shattered. You have to create this whole new identity for yourself, and like you will hit your lowest low. Like that will drive you to go to the fucking gym or shave your head or start doing whatever the fuck you were putting off. So we go through this breakup and now I have all of this extra time and I'm like still so down bad, but COVID happens. So I go back home to Cincinnati after I'm like heartbroken and I'm back home and now I have all this time on my hands and I don't know what to fucking do. And I remember I was still kind of talking to this girl, like we were still texting here and there, but it was beyond repair at this point. Like we just needed to cut it off. And I took my last ounce of dignity and I sent her this long text and I was like, you know what, like we're done here. Like I can't talk to you anymore. This is it. And I deleted all of our messages, all our pictures together. I blocked her on everything and I was done. And looking back at the timing of all of these events happening the way they did actually blows my mind. So like I'm silently in misery trying to convince myself that I'm gonna be a normie 9-to-5-er, even though I know that's not what I want. I have the girlfriend, I have the frat, I'm like having fun to cover it up. Again, if you knew me in real life, you wouldn't know that I'm like kind of eating myself up inside. And then I get that text from my friend Jack where he says the word relief, and then girlfriend and I break up, COVID happens, and I'm isolated back home with all of this time on my hands, and it's like, okay, what are you gonna do now? Like, you have all this time. You say you wanna start a business, you say you don't wanna do the whole 9-to-5 thing. Here's your fucking opportunity, buddy. And so it took me a little bit, but slowly but surely I kind of started to creep back into entrepreneurship. I started making videos again, doing social media management, trying to build an agency, trying to build an e-com brand. I was just like trying a bunch of shit and finally getting my toes back in the water. And then over the next 1.5 to 2 years, I was consistently working, showing up for myself every day and trying to make this work online. And if you're consistent with something for that long and you're not absolutely brain dead, like I'm a little retarded, but not that retarded, you're gonna figure it out. Like I promise you, if you stick in with anything for 1.5 to 2 years, you will start to make money. So after my sophomore year of college, after that next year, I dropped out and I moved to Mexico for 3 months. And I remember I was walking on a beach in Mexico and I hadn't thought about my friend Jack in that text since I had gotten it originally. And I was just walking on that beach and I was like, whoa, like it gives me the chills right now just thinking about it. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, how did that all work out so perfectly? I was in hell, but like quietly, and I needed relief. Like I needed relief from this lie that I was telling myself that I was just gonna be fine, not doing any of the things that I wanted to do, and then everything just fell apart. And that like rocked my world enough to where I was like spurred back into action. And that was the ripple effect to me going and starting a successful business and being able to drop out and go make my own money and live in Mexico for a little bit. And now eventually move down to Miami and literally live my dream life. It all started from that series of events that occurred after I got that text about relief. And thinking back and looking back on that, that's what like really repaired my relationship with God. And I don't want to go too deep into this because it's not really the topic of the video, but I was like, what the fuck? Like everything just happened too perfectly. And that's just so crazy that that was the word that came up while he was praying. And then everything that happened after. And I was like, okay, there has to be, like somebody's fucking helping me out here. Like that was a life raft. And luckily I had the mental fortitude and awareness to grab onto it. So I was literally rescued from ever having to work a 9-to-5. And again, I can't be more grateful for first the upbringing I had and the opportunity to be in college and God literally coming and saving me. And now I run my own business, I make my own hours, I do literally what I want with all of my time. And my life is the exact way that I used to dream about, that I would think about when I was trapped in college and hating myself and hating my life. And if there's one thing that I really want you to take away from this, it's the fact that if you know that voice that I'm talking about that's in the back of your head that's telling you that you can do more with your life, that you don't want to follow the mundane 9-to-5 path and that you're meant for more, you have to follow that fucking voice. Like luckily I was rescued. Luckily I had the lifeboat, right? Life raft come and save me, but not everybody's gonna get that. But you're gonna have to fucking save yourself sometimes. And if you keep lying to yourself, if you keep saying, I'm gonna be okay, just, you know, doing the average thing, everybody else is doing it, it's normal, you know, I'm not meant to be exceptional. If you keep telling yourself that, it's not gonna be fun, bro. It's not gonna be a fun existence. You're not gonna be fulfilled or have any purpose. And you're silently gonna be miserable. You're gonna be one of those people that walks around with their heads down and their fucking shoulders slumped and they're like walking with their little salad bowl and you're like, this guy's a fucking pussy. Like I wanna knock this guy out. You don't wanna be somebody that other people wanna knock out. I'm sorry, I'm not actually trying to knock anybody out here, but I am telling you, bro, you owe it to yourself. If you don't want to work a 9-to-5, if you don't want to follow that path, you have to go fucking do something, bro. And literally anybody, take a year, take 2 years, build any business online, any service-based business, because that's really fucking easy. Learn copywriting, learn sales, learn how to sell products on TikTok Shop or edit videos or any fucking skill, and then go reach out to people that might need that skill and that might be able to use that in their business. And I guarantee you, eventually you will be making fucking money. You just have to have enough delusional self-confidence and this naivete in yourself that you will fucking make it work, even when you're retarded, even when you say that you want to be a dog when you grow up. Like think about that. I was brain dead, bro. But if you are dumb enough to believe in yourself and you stick to it for a year or 2 years and you change your habits, you make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do, or you're doing the one thing that you need to do every day to start moving closer to your goals, and you start to change your identity and you start to shift into this new reality for yourself, it will fucking work out. I promise you, bro. I promise. And if you can relate to the way that I felt when I was in college and I felt trapped and I wanted to do something else, but you're not doing anything about it, don't wait for that fucking life raft to come. Let this be the reminder, let this be the thing that spurs you into action and starts the process of you actually changing something in your fucking life and going after what you want. Love you. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Go to the description if you want to get rich. Love you. Bye.